Good morning, my friends, and welcome to another amazing episode of Jacob's Ladder. Oh boy, do we have some stuff to get into today. I hope that everybody can hear me okay. You can give me a little check in the chat. Let me know that everything's going well, because I got to tell you something. You're going to want to listen to this. Check out that thumbnail, huh? Vote for Blue Steel. That look that was made famous in Zoolander. Oh my goodness gracious, when I hear the word Zoolander, I think we're all the landers that have landed ourselves into the zoo. Whether that be AI, aliens, or just sinister powers that be, I don't know. I think it's all a big movie in my imagination. Just so you know, I'm a little bit of a speculator. I'm going to connect some things today. So many people already here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Smash that like. Thank you very much. So many things to connect. And I got to tell you, I don't want you all to be like, oh, wow, this is something horrible and terrible, because it's not. Could just be, just my imagination. But I tell you, my imagination, it's putting some stuff together. If you're new to the channel, sometimes what I'll do is I'll say some things. Isn't that right, Scott? Thank you very much for the super chat. Sometimes I say things and I'm just like, hey, I think this might happen. Or, hey, take a look at this over here. Or, hey, I had this weird dream last night. Let me tell you about it. And then it kind of happens. People put a lot of stock in that. I'm not saying to put stock in that. I'm saying put your faith in more. But I did that just recently. I don't know why, but it was August 23rd, and I was celebrating Ethan's 12th birthday, which was just off the chart. Went to Topgolf and messed up my my golfer's elbow even more, and I'm not a golfer. That's what this is all about. It's because I edit all the time, and I've messed up a tendon somehow, but it'll get better. So on the 23rd, I posted to X. You know, that place that used to be called Twitter. I said, this is a day that will go down I meant to say in history. I don't know why I wrote on history. But on August 25th, I will remind you, and we will see what it was that you chose to see in my post. Been talking a lot about the Trumpster, a lot of things, you know. I didn't expect the Trumpster to come back on that day, but he did. And he shared his mugshot, the headshot that rung around the world. A lot of people are saying that that's kind of evidence of the beast because there's a headshot out there. I think that peculiar bird who DM'd me said the same thing. People think that this is proof. I got a lot of other things that may lead you to believe that, but I'm telling you, there's more to this story. God's in charge. It is a great film, maybe, and I'm gonna give you a review of the film, and I'm gonna give you some spoilers of what's to come. So I wrote down on August 24th, the day would go down in history, and it did. August 24th, the Trumpster put out that never surrender. Never surrender. And you look right above never surrender, you could read those words. Because, of course, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, right? You got these parties, and one party doesn't play fair. Interesting, right? Blue Steel. That's interesting. That's vote blue. Vote blue, right? Weird. Gets weirder. Gets a lot weirder. So, you'll probably notice that the real Kim Shady on X, check her out. She's very interesting too. I was doing a little bit of digging, and I thought, I bet you there's something to this day-wise. And then I go on X and I see she posts this. And I think she even DM'd me. Today, Trump is 77 years old in 7 days. 70 days. And that's no joke. So there was literally, between his birthday and the shot heard round the world, it was 77 years and 70 days. Now, you'll notice a couple of years ago, I did a video called The Trump Paradox, and you'll see that number 70 because that was when, right before I think Israel was celebrating their 70th But I'll tell you one thing. It's interesting. The 70s, the completion. Isn't that right, Dark Side of the Moon? Thank you for the super chat. Good morning to you as well. Good morning to everybody. If you don't mind hitting that like so we can get more people here, because I tell you, I save all the good stuff, all the best stuff for last. There's a lot of cool stuff right now, and I'm going to point out a lot of things that maybe they're coincidental, right? But at some point, doesn't it get a little bit too much, right? Haven't we been talking a lot about the blue lately? Just did a show called Blue, where I had the title Blue Blocked. I explained the symbolism that blue is a sapphire. Sapphire is the throne of God. We're going to see a lot more blue stuff coming out. We're going to see the world's version too, which is interesting. And obviously, on the very bottom, if you're new to the channel, I had a dream before the election. That's that Trump is always screaming about. And in the dream, I'll probably share it for those that are new later. I said, will they try to fake it? And then from that point on, I've been telling everybody that he's going to be very influential. The whole world is going to be rooting for this guy. It's going to be the underdog story of all time. And then here we have it. I can't go very far on X to see more and more people being like, oh, the African-American community loves him, and the Asians, they love him, and this was the worst thing that they could have done. Arresting him and putting up this mugshot this day that went down in history, as I said, and you'll see I was correct. August 24th is a day that will always be historic. Always be. Always be. But you know what else happened on that day? This is where the show gets a little quinky dinky do, as Nora's saying in the super chat. This is where it gets a little quinky dinky do. Now you know me. I've had a weird storied career. Came from nothing. Sold mattresses. Sold Shane McMahon his first mattress. At the time, I was doing like an independent movie that I wrote. Somehow, some way, I guess I helped his back out enough that he gave me a shot as a writer for the WWE. And then I was the writer for the WWF between 1999 and 2001. About 2 years, okay? In those 2 years, it went from being beaten by TCW, I think it was TCW, no, WCW, excuse me. It was being beaten by them in the ratings. I came in right when Vince Russo jumped ship, went to WCW, and then I came on, this guy, this nobody man, this nothing man. And, God puts his hand to the things that I do, and of course, WWF blows up. It becomes the best, highest ratings in all time. Highest ratings. So there's a connection, which is strange with the WWE. If you're new to the channel, I was like the head writer there, me and one other guy. I wrote for everybody, so very strange. I've been smack dab in the middle of Vince McMahon's circle. I was on his plane for I can't tell you how long. I've been to his house. Well, guess his birthday was on August 24th, and he turned 78 years old. Now, I want to point out the age, 77 and 78, because in a little while, that's going to really, it's going to be something. But you know who else died? Oh, man, you all better share this show around. I know where this show is going. That's a big grimace on that guy's face, right? Would you call that a grimace? That's exactly what a grimace is. That's a wrestler, by the way. I don't know if you know who he is. His name is Bray Wyatt. He was not there when I was there. He came in, obviously, a little later, but he comes from a family of wrestlers. It's a tragic event. 36 years old, big star in the WWE, connected to a lot of stuff. Okay. Now, his latest incarnation was that of The Fiend. And The Fiend passed away on the same day of the mugshot, on the same day of Vince McMahon's birthday. I know it seems like coincidence. I know it seems like coincidence. The coincidence is going to get a lot weirder. It's going to get a lot weirder, especially for all of you that have been watching and part of the channel, sharing and stuff like that, because I said the Grimace shakeup was coming, and the Grimace shakeup is here. Wait till you see. All right, so of course, you can't help but see that grimace smirk on his face. The fiend. You know what a fiend is? If a devil possesses someone, a dead body, a human corpse. If a devil possesses a zombie. If people are zombies, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to listen to this machine. And they're just zoned out, totally lost, completely mind controlled, which you're going to find has something to do with this show. Once again, this is just a movie. I don't know if this is really happening or not. It's just a weird, like if life was a movie. I got to give you the disclaimer because I don't want anybody to be all freaking out, but there are a lot of zombies walking around today. And if a zombie is possessed by the devil, a demon, an antichrist, it becomes a fiend. A fiend who is known for his huge grimace. Now, what's weird, I don't know if you've been watching, but on Twitter you get these advertisements, and one of them that I've been seeing lately is this one to the right and the bottom left. Has anybody tell me in the live chat if you've seen this strange mask that's going around? It's like, it's got millions and millions of views. Millions and millions of views. Very strange because, once again, it's a grimace. And I don't know how that this is somehow like all over my feed. And I've talked to a couple other people and they're like, oh yeah, I've seen that. It's just weird. This forced smile. This evil smile. This grimace that I said was coming. Let's talk a little more about Bray Wyatt for a second. He was rumored to be the new White Rabbit. They were playing, for a while, it was house shows, they were playing that famous song, about Alice in Wonderland. And he was rumored to be this White Rabbit who was going to reveal a bunch of things. But he was also known, when he returned, for Firefly Funhouse. It's kind of like a ripoff of Pee Wee Herman, but with devils and demons and ghouls. And what's weird is Pee Wee Herman, who is, we'll say probably not someone I would allow around my children because he was caught doing all sorts of disgusting things in public and other things. But, they gave him a TV show. And they're like, here you go. Why don't you be the spokesperson for the children? And I got to tell you, funny guy, great actor. After his big mishap, of course, Tim Burton gave him his big role as I think it was the Penguin in the old Batman series. But he's dead. He died. He was suffering with cancer, and he was 70 years old. The Fiend, the Grimace, all of these things are just interesting. It's the Firefly Funhouse is very dark, but it just goes to show you that this world really does. Your children are subjected to a lot of stuff. Think about, what's his name from Subway, Jared. Man, they did like outreaches and stuff with children, and like some of the people they knew about this, and they covered this up. This is the thing. This world it's been sold out. Bunch of fiends running around, but the fiend just passed away. So when we start to see this symbolism playing out in the world, we got to say, okay, well, maybe there's more. What does this have to do with the mugshot? Okay, the mugshot heard round the world. So Donald's Blue Steel mugshot. Now that's called Blue Steel because, of course, they think that this, Zoolander was a movie back in the day. He was a model, a model, someone that is molded, a mod, L. A lot of people picked this story up, that this was his Blue Steel mugshot, how handsome he is. Even Joe Biden said this. Now, you know what's funny is that our buddy, who I'm just so proud of him, Marfugel and Dex, their shows. If you don't know anything about the Adam and Marfugel, News and Marfugal TV. You should check him out. He and his sister were like fans of the show years ago. And so I've known him from when he was just a little YouTuber. And man, just so proud of him. He does such an amazing job. And I've learned so much. He put out a zeet. I think they're called zeets now. He put out a zeet, and it said, let me see if I have a actual screenshot of it. I may not. I don't think I have this screenshot of it, unfortunately. But his zeet was, I guess Donald goes with the blue steel. Now, I saw that, and at first, I didn't really know what blue steel was. I thought, I thought of police, and then I thought of something really that was not great. Blue steel is, it's a common, it's being led into like sexual frustration, okay? It's like someone turns you on that much that you get blue steel. Now, I say that not because it's gross and everything else. If you take a look, there it is right there. You know, these are the things you learn when you're doing research for these amazing and inspiring shows. But if you think about it, that would be a blue steel mugshot. There's no payoff in the end. It's all to get you excited. Think about that for a second. But forget about that. Think about what's about to happen all over the world. Everybody's going to be talking about something being stolen. Stolen by a group of individuals that are known to be blue. We just did all of those shows on Lahaina. God help these people, help so many people, because there are fires literally everywhere. It's like Nero has showed up on the scene. Oh, wait till you see the stuff that I have prepared to share with you today. I really should break these down into smaller shows, make my life a little easier. But I don't know. I just, like, I want to sit down and watch an hour show. And I want to see that my life means something. And man, does your life mean something. So the blue steel mugshot that everyone is talking about, really, and all the news organizations and everything else picked it up. Well, you could thank Adam at Marfugal News and TV and Dex. They put up a couple of cool memes. The problem is, you know what happens? People will see it, and then they steal it, and then they post their own pictures of it, and then they leave out the person who was behind it all. And the only reason that I even looked into this blue steel thing, because this is just mind-blowing, is because I saw it first with him, and then later Owen Benjamin. You know, these are people that are in the spear niche world that I guess I'm into. Comedian, very outspoken guy, but he posted that, which obviously he probably saw from Mar first and just took and didn't credit, because, I mean, it would be nice. It's like, if you see something here on this show, tell people where you saw it. Don't just pass it off like, you know, oh, I came up with this myself. This is why when people email me and send me things, I try to remember everybody. So Jay Massey, after I saw all this blue steel stuff that was going on having to do with Zoolander, I posted something about it. And Jay Massey on Twitter just wrote the simple phrase, blue steel, like stolen. And I was like, I said, wow. And then guess what happens next? A thought comes to me. You know where that thought comes from, right? Sean, you know where that comes from, right? You and your wife, you know. You get these little thoughts that pop up inside like little still small voices. And they say, I bet you Donald Trump's in Zoolander. I bet you Donald Trump's in that movie. He is. But he's not just in that movie. So when he gives that blue steel mugshot, it's almost like, did he somehow know when he was in that movie? Was that somehow connected? Or are we decoding reality? As they say, what is it? The history explains the future or something like that. I don't know what that expression is. You got to tell me in the comments section. There's like an expression where like the history will predict the future or vice versa. I don't know. But certainly Donald Trump was in that movie, and Ben Stiller he got a lot of pressure. They're like, take him out, take him out. Take him out. He was at the very beginning of the movie. He didn't take him out, which I think was a good idea because that would be foolish to cave to pressure. But let me show you where Donald Trump shows up. This is just mind-blowing to me. All right, that's not it. Here we go. I'm just going to open this up. Now, that's Zoolander. This is the very beginning of the movie. He's about to give the blue steel look. So it's strange that he's about to give the blue steel look, and then right after that, we see the Statue of Liberty, and then we see Donald Trump. Blue steel. Shaking her head. Can't believe it. Statue of Liberty. Paramount Pictures. And then guess who this is? There he is. Right after blue steel. What is the possibility? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, what are the odds? And he's saying that Erick Zoolander, that male modeling wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for Erick Zoolander. But it's strange. Blue steel, Statue of Liberty, which of course we know is a goddess. Some call it the actual literal whore of Babylon, a symbol of the system that has enslaved us all. And then Donald Trump and Melania. Look at how young Melania looks, huh? I mean, listen, it's weird. It's not as weird as some of the things. It's not as weird as some of the things I'm about to share, but it's weird. It's weird. All of this blue stuff, weird. The mugshot, weird. Strange, strange days. The fact Zoolander was connected to a terrible event. It's the day that my daughter was born, Shiloh. She was born 2 years later on September 11th, to the second that first plane hit. Twins were torn down, which is ironic because there's a lot of symbolism to that. Those twins, the 11, being torn down on that day. Now, you know who's very connected to that date is Donald Trump. Donald Trump happens to be in Zoolander. Zoolander, which was like the very first big movie to be released, because like after that happened, everybody was freaked out. They're like, how are we going to release, especially a comedy, a ridiculous comedy? But it was not released, it was like 2 weeks later. It wasn't much. You know what he did? He had the towers digitally removed, and any mention of the towers digitally removed. Oliver Stone was so upset with Ben Stiller and this movie that in his movie, when they finally did a movie of the telling of the towers coming down, there was a picture of Zoolander, the poster of Zoolander, and the shadow of a plane flying in front of it. Because, of course, when that happened, Zoolander was all over New York City. And then what comes after that? You know, if you have if there's a zoo, it's animals, right? And of course, this movie was about a bunch of vapid animals, selfie-driven animals, and Blue Steel predicted that culture. The connection between 9/11, the connection to Trump, it's strange. The fact that there's a scene where Ben Stiller, you know, he comes out of the club and he's upset because, yeah, I'll admit it. I watched the movie again because I didn't want to come on here and just, you know, half butt it for you. I wanted to give you the full show and give you the insights into it. The story goes that, you know, it was Malaysia. And by the way, Malaysia didn't even allow it to happen. Supposedly, models were being, you know, mind controlled to take out people that were getting in the way of fashion and money, of all things, because it was very greed oriented. They even had like a conspiracy where David from the X-Files, Duchovny, I think is his name, from the X-Files, he's a hand model. He comes in and he says, the first one was John Wilkes Booth, a model. But it's interesting because a model is molded, vapid. So funny that one of the opening scenes, the three male models, they have they're dancing around spraying gasoline on each other. And then they lit on fire. It's very strange. Blue steel, they say, predicted selfie culture. That look predicted selfie. That was, going back, that was what started all of this. So that scene where he comes out and he's upset because Hansel, he's so hot, he's so hot right now. He comes out and he looks at himself in a puddle and he says, "Who am I?" And this is a theme that goes on in the show throughout. Who am I? Who am I? This is all going to make sense. Now, to the right, there's a picture of Narcissus. In Greek mythology, just basically fell in love with the dude, fell in love with himself, and this is where we get the idea of becoming like a fiend, like a zombie, so obsessed with image, which isn't even real. It's the image of the beast. That's the problem. In Scripture, by the way, mankind, they're called beasts. So the image of the beast would be something that's made to be like man. Some would say it could be AI. I think it has to do with our ego and who we think we are. But once again, Zoolander was a problem. Now, all of this is leading up to something, so don't check out. Stick with me. He's not going to remove Trump. The big 9/11 connection was there. Blue steel is the look. And this is a quote that I wanted to share from that movie, that deep, wonderful movie. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more to life than being really, really ridiculously good looking. And I plan on finding out what that is. Who am I? This is a theme that I want you to take for the rest of this show. Because it's one of those things that if you don't know who you are, you're going to be whoever someone tells you to be. And we got a lot of that right now. You'll become a fiend. So, that's where it gets weird. So August 24th, I say, is a day that's going to go down in history. And there you see headlines that I posted on the 25th, as I said I would, showing everybody. Trump's Georgia jailhouse mugshot makes history. Trump seeks to make the most historic Georgia mugshot. Historic Trump mugshot released. Vote blue for the steal. Very interesting. But it gets more interesting because this is where McDonald's and Grimace comes in. Remember I talked about all those shows? And I said the shakeup was coming? The shakeup's here, people. So, there are many defendants. And the big news is, why are all of Trump's accused conspirators smiling for their mugshots? But the word they use is not like it's like grimacing, smirking, evil grins. Why are they grimacing? I'm not making this stuff up. You all who've been here, this is where you need to help me out. This is where you need to say, wow, I need to share this out because this is more interesting than something you're going to find on Netflix. And wait till you see where else I'm going. So, why are they all smiling, you say? Well, there was that movie called Smile. And guess what that had to do with? Becoming a fiend. Becoming a devil-possessed fiend who ultimately wants to destroy themselves, to kill themselves. This is a big problem today. I get so many emails from so many people that want to hurt themselves or want to give up. And I'm telling you, that's a lie. We have these thoughts in our head and we think that it's going to make us better. I've been there, just so you know. Look, I used to cut myself. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? Can you see the scar? I did it in a place where I was like, at least because I had the forethought to think if it's at least it should look cool. Did this. There was a time when I went through a hard time and I was like, because I had not the best upbringing. I had a lot of bad, hard stuff happen in my life. And they're like, oh, you got PTSD. You need to go see somebody. And then they're like, oh, you need to go on this and you need to go on that. And that's when all that nonsense started happening. And I realized, hang on a second. that lie in my head saying, oh, you're better off this way. You're not, this what's the point? Nothing's going to change. That's not me. People think it's them, but it isn't. We're in a spiritual battle, people. And the problem is you got a bunch of fiends that are just lapping up all of this sinister stuff that they're throwing at you. Grimace. So, that movie Smile, people would go crazy. They'd start seeing everybody smiling, this wicked looking smile. Now, if you look at the girl to the right of the poster, that's actually Trevion Cuddy. I may be pronouncing her name wrong, but she's Kanye West's publicist. She was in this lawsuit. She's in this indictment. That was her mugshot. It's identical, in my opinion. When I saw that, that was the first thing I thought. Then I was like, oh, I can't wait to add this to the show. And then I get on the phone with Adam because I wanted to talk to him about his blue steel and I wanted to share all the other things that I found. And he's like, did you see the mugshots? I'm like, did I see the mugshots, Adam? Oh. Smile. Grimace Shake is coming. The Grimace Shake-Up's coming. I said the Grimace Shake-Up was coming. It's here. It's here. And look at the review for Smile. Parker's Finn's supernatural take on trauma-based mind control. Trauma-based mind control. Zoolander. Blue steel. Blue stealing. Blue stealing. Blue steel. In your head. Blue steel. Blue steel. You start to think it's true. Maybe it is. I don't know. I think the whole system's a big psyop. I do. Or at least maybe just entertainment. But I know that God's in charge. I know that God is the writer of the script. That's why it's like, none of this may even matter. These all may just be weird coincidences. Just happens that the fiend, known for the grimace, passes away the same day. The mugshot comes out with the grimace. Maybe it's all, I don't know. You got to tell me. You got to tell me in the comments section. I find it to be a little sus. Very sus. Very sus. But it gets a little more sus. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, so take a look. Miley Cyrus, by the way, Smile's all over the news. Smile is a big thing too. She just got her teeth redone. I don't know. I just typed in Smile. That was one of the things. A lot of things came up. The one that I thought was pretty funny was the fact that Ron DeSantis is making a grimace. It's like he doesn't know how to smile. He's like, it's weird. Almost like he was doing it on purpose. Ron DeSantis' grimace smile meme is going supernova. Very strange. Smile will make you grin and grimace. After witnessing bizarre traumatic events, grimace. You got this weird thing being shared, which I just find so strange. Yeah, that looks like a great decal. Get that decal. Put it on your face. Who in the comment section has seen that advertisement? I know I'm not the only crazy person. I may be looking at like grimaces and fiends and stuff like that. Maybe it is. I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. I said the shakeup was coming, and the shakeup came. Take a look above my video from June 12th. That's the day after my birthday, by the way. Happy birthday, Jacob. I turned 52 on the 11th. But I did a bunch of shows about Grimace. That was the very first show I did about Grimace, and then I did other ones. And if you remember correctly, when people drank the shake, when they drank the purple shake, purple, another, some people think that it has to do with the woman of abomination in Scripture. You know, the woman in crimson. You know, purple. It's a color of royalty, some say. Purple and blue, very, very similar, but they're little offshoots of each other. My point is, once they were drinking that Grimace shake, remember the videos that went around where everybody was turning into like demon-possessed fiends? Do you remember that? It's not just me, right? It's not just me. And look at how they describe President Trump's grimace. Time magazine. In Donald Trump's mugshot taken at the Fulton County Jail on Thursday, he looked straight into the camera. His platinum blonde cotton blah, 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 blah. His eyes are locked in on a hard stare. His mouth is flattened in a grimace. A grimace. Now look at the news above the grimace shake. Let me just maybe blow this up so you can take a look at this. And I'll get this out of the way for you. Yeah, I mean, at some point, maybe people will start to pay attention and think, well, maybe there's a God. Either that or just, we have 1,440 people watching for a good strong while now. I love that number. I'll take that number. I mean, I would love it if you hit the like button so we can get some more people here, but I'll take that number. Staying strong. 1440. Oh, yeah. That's good stuff. Will the summer of Trump indictments shake up the election? Trump shakes up Georgia legals team. Trump legal shake-up. Shake-up came. Shake-up was here. Shake-up coming. Wild. But it gets more wild. Are you ready? Are you ready? Still 1440. This is good stuff. What about all them terrible fires that are happening everywhere? Everybody's having a problem with them. I'm having a problem with them. Do you remember, I don't know, I think it was in January, the very beginning of the year in January, there was these weird, like, UFO laser lights that were shining down all over Hawaii. And you know, people were stressed about it. They didn't know exactly what it was. They thought, could it be aliens? You know, some people were like, oh, it's CERN. So, the news story was that the ominous green lasers, they didn't come from NASA or a satellite. Some people say it was from a Chinese satellite. And at the time when this came out, I talked about it. Other people talked about it. We're like, oh, are they surveying the land? Has anybody made this connection yet with the green lasers? I saw Official on Twitter tweeted something out, and there was a picture of the lasers. I don't know if it was, I think it was in relation to something else, but that's what got me to think about this. Now, blue is like everywhere. Everything's about being blue blocked. That was my show from, 3 or 4 days ago? The blue. Even Vincent Kennedy on Twitter. He's sharing a video where he said that all the houses that are going to be built in the future, they're going to be blue roofs. And then he shows why. I guess because when a blue laser hits blue, it doesn't burn. When it hits any other color, it burns. I don't know. I'm not a laserologist. Is that a word, laserologist? But the question becomes, what was the deal with those? You know, so many questions. Somebody I saw was posting, images of that satellite, that balloon that went over Hawaii. It was over a different part. But then, like, moments before all this, thank you for the super chat, Mott. Appreciate that. People were like pointing out, what about that balloon that went over Hawaii? A lot of people were like, what's going on? Very strange. Why does the world seem to be on fire? Now, in Scripture, it talks about how God, third of the earth, something like that. Third of the cattle, third of the fish, third. So it's a culling because the world's gotten so messed up. And so when you see the fires everywhere, it's easy to draw the connection, right? Now, here's weird. 4 years ago, maybe I should blow this up. Now, I'll blow it up in a second. 4 years ago, I did a show called Has Nero Risen? And I talked about the coming fires. and wondered if perhaps that because this one obscure magazine pictured the Trumpster as Nero, I wondered if perhaps he was going to signal all of these crazy things happening in our world today that we see happening today. It was very strange. Because back in, it was 2020 or so, he retweeted a meme that he says he has no idea what it means. And listen, the Trumpster says himself that he's a genius. He knows what this is a reference to. So the fact that he says, who knows what this means, but it sounds good to me. And it was almost like, who knows what this means? And I'm like, I do. So let me do a show, right? And I talked about it then, and I talked about it in this show, up top. My next piece is called Nothing Can Stop What's Happening. Nero played the fiddle. That's the story. While the world burned. Rome is in charge right now, and Rome is burning. There's been 1,000-day reign of Roman reigns, on WWE. It's been more than that now. I think it's like 1,080 or 90 or whatever. 1,000-year reign of Rome. It's been going down. I don't know if you've noticed, but there is a dramatic shift that's happened. There was a time when everyone was so scared. They're coming after us. And I said, no, their bark is worse than their bite. It's all just to get you excited for the next one. So you can cheer them coming on and burning the world down. Heat wave, flood, and fire. What's it like to survive 2023's extreme weather? And of course, they're saying that it has to do with the climate, which I am not going to say, because I think it has to do with things being lit on fire. I think that things are being lit on fire. But here's the thing, burning down a house, once again, I don't know. I mean, obviously things are being lit on fire. I don't know how they're being lit on fire. With lightning, lightning strike, or maybe a power line goes down. Like supposedly it was the tropical storm Barbie, in between the tropical hurricane Donald and then Dorothy was Hurricane Dora. That's what it was. Dora, Donald, and Hillary, the three storms. We had the Wizard of Oz right there. Maybe it was a storm. Maybe it was a lighter. Maybe it was lava. Who knows? But the world seems to be on fire. But we don't really know if it's true. I know that I saw the results of the Canada fires, the ones that started, and then all that smoke came down here. But once again, I don't know where that smoke is coming. For all I know, I could be in just a little bubble, and and they're like, oh, let's see how they react to this, and they could just be funneling in a bunch of smoke. Who knows, right? It's just like a movie. Zoolander. Blue is the color of the day we're in, my friends. Blue. And the blue moon is upon us. So with all this stuff going on, we have this interesting holiday in connection with it. It's I believe it's a Hindu holiday. And Raksha Bandhan, I think that's the way you pronounce it. It's the bond of a sister to a brother with a thread. It's a thread that binds our lives and our hearts together. Threads. A thread is used to bind people together. It's interesting. But we got this big blue supermoon, supposedly the biggest, coming this week. And it will be on August 30th. So, of course, I think maybe something interesting is going to happen on August 30th to August 31st. These are things that I think about. I don't know. I get these ideas. Like, I don't know why. I'm at the gym in the morning before Ethan's birthday. And I'm like, tomorrow's going to be a huge day. And it was very interesting. So, if you're new, I've been saying that perhaps this could play out. Like we would be in a place where we are right now, and we're here, And I'm just going to play you that video for those. And if you don't mind, because I'm sure a lot of you have seen it already. This was from before the election. And let's just play this. You can get it. So you see the cover right there. Will they try to fake it? And he's looking at a Simpsons prediction, right? And of course, in the video, I explain what the fatal head wound really is. It has nothing to do with what you think. And by the way, in that passage, the passage says, as like it looks as if he had a fatal wound. And that word wound, believe it or not, means plague. But that's for another show. But the point is that it looked like it. Doesn't mean that he did get it. It just looked that way. People forget that in Scripture. But go on, take a listen to this. This is, I think, is still interesting. And look at me, no gray hair. I have a dream. It's a very strange dream. I don't pay much attention to it. In the dream, and it was a couple of them, but this one was the one that stood out the most. In the dream, I, for some reason, was like with one arm was carrying like the casket of our president. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but it was open. But on the left-hand side of me, there was our president. So it was very strange. There was like, it was one in the casket with the casket wide open. There was also, I remember there being like, I noticed there was moss on the bottom of the casket, moss that was growing there. But in the dream, the president was smiling, he was laughing, he was having a great old time, and here I am carrying this, and I didn't understand. I'm like, oh, and then I woke up and I'm like, oh, I get it. It's gonna be like a fake thing, right? So I have a. So that's weird, right? I find that to be weird. Now I've also said on the channel, because I like to say this to a lot of people. I did a show just recently about Samson. And, all of these judges, there are pictures, and that we would be in that last judge, Samson, who, by the way, lit a bunch of fires. He tied the fox tails together. Don't let those foxes go. And lit their tails on fire, and they went through and they burned everything down. There's a big connection with Samson and Trump. If you haven't seen those videos, go to my YouTube channel, click on videos, and look for where you'll see Samson. Then underneath it, you see Masons, because it's kind of like a word scramble of that word. About the day that we're in, the strong man, who, by the way, ends up losing his hair in the end, tearing down the pillars. So I don't know if the guy's a bad dude. I look at the tree by the fruit. Not going to say, that he's the antichrist. I'm going to say that he is doing exactly what God wants him to do. And, so in that dream, I felt like he was in on it. Like this was all a big setup. Suckers. But I could be wrong. It could have been, he looks like he's dying. There's political death, right? The swamp moss. But God's going to restore him. I got to leave that up to you. I don't like to come on here and say things. I just knew that he'd be back, and I knew we'd be biding our time, and I knew that things were going to get the way they were because we're coming up on that last eclipse, and it's getting epic. It's getting epic. I never thought that I would, do a bunch of shows. Like people were like, "Why are you talking about Grimace?" I got people in the chat. Why don't you ever talk about the gospel of Jesus Christ? And the irony, the good news, every single day when I come on here, that's what I'm sharing. Every single day I'm directing people to God. Every single day. I have a whole website dedicated to. You want to learn things? You want Bible lessons, right? You just got to remember something. This is for everyone. You can go to my website, jacobisrael.com, right there in the corner. See that corner right down there? jacobisrael.com. I've written hundreds of essays. They're all free, and it's yours. You want to get deep? You want to find the truth? You want to know what the good news really is? You want to know the gospel? People are like, why aren't you? I'm not preaching what religion is preaching. And guess where religion's gotten you? Take a look at some of these mega pastors. Take a look at that. You're not tithing to me. I'm not a pastor. I'm a YouTuber. You all, just because I share my faith, you need to understand that this is for everyone. Everyone is welcome at Jacob's Well. Everyone. My hope is, because Christ sits at this well, that you take Christ with you. Because if you keep coming to me and you think that this is going to, like I can give you some advice and I can give you some insight. I can give you a lot of cool stuff. I can show you that God's in charge. I was talking about Grimace. People were making fun of me. Why are you talking about Grimace? Talk about what really matters. Talk about the Lord Jesus Christ, which I do every single show. Follow me on Twitter, by the way. I write poetry. I am dedicated to God. I have a covenant with God. A covenant. I made a covenant, a deal. I built an altar in my home. Give me a break. Not many people today are really seeking God. Bunch of zombie fiends running around. Gets me sad. But I do shows on Grimace. People make fun of me. Now Grimace is everywhere. Grimace is everywhere. It's very strange. I think it's very cool. And I hope that this show entertained you and encouraged you a little bit. I hope that you were, enlightened. I got to show you one more thing that's going to blow your mind. I got to show you one. Oh, by the way, do you remember that mother fudgerson's not real? She just posted something, and it's already got like 1 million views. This was from yesterday, wearing her hat. Just the day we're in. The day we're in. Everybody being gaslit. Everybody being gaslit. It's just, to me, I think the whole thing is very silly and very sus. Bob Barker died. Bob Barker died. Can you believe this? We're just biding our time. Somebody at the I put a tweet out, and I said that moment the guy at the gym saw a picture of Bob Barker and thought that it was Biden. That's why you see the two of them together. I put that out, and a lot of people were like saying some not nice things. But you know what? He's not a nice man. And he's done some really awful, terrible, corrupt things. And he said some awful, terrible, racist, terrible things in his past. I mean, it's all right there. And we know it because we've been told it. We're just biding our time until something happens. Now, here's the thing. Were we told this ahead of time? That 2019, oh, I bet you're glad you waited for this. That 2019 World In, this is the cover that they say predicts the future. Well, you see up top to the right, you see that meme of the Trumpster with Ken, which is going around. Now it's on T-shirts. Very funny. The instant I saw that, my mind reminded me of this cover, which we've talked about a lot. If you look to the left, Putin's pipelines happened around there. The movie Rust, you got somebody looking like Alec Baldwin in the movie Rust. You got a lot of things that went down this year that were in that magazine. I never understood why those lines and everything were on Trump's face in that magazine. But could that be? You all should share this around just for this. Could that be a mugshot? You'll also see in Ken's hand that there was a code, which is 919, and a number, 77. Violent mental patients, 918. 919 is keep the peace. You got to keep the peace. So is that a mugshot? Is that a mugshot? Did they know? Did they put it in their magazine? Or am I reaching? I mean, I could be reaching. I did say, when I saw Grimace from McDonald's come out, that a Grimace shakeup was coming, and now I've somehow connected that to everything that's going on in the world. I don't know. There are fires everywhere. It's an interesting day. You know what you should do? I use this now, by the way. I got this. This is True Self Organics from trulyfree.com. My only sponsor, by the way. They're the best. All their stuff is toxic free, no toxins. You get your cleaners. They do everything though. But this is natural deodorant. Because I'm getting away from all the the crests of the world, doing more natural toothpaste, natural deodorant. I don't want to be putting all these chemicals. I don't trust any of them anymore. Nice, amazing Christian company. Let me see if I can pull them up and show you, just to give you an idea. Listen, you go there and you type in code Jacob, and you get 30% off. Their stuff is amazing. And I'm really grateful that, he decided to help me out with products that I use. He sent them all to me. I would have never known had he not watched this channel and come at a time when I needed some encouragement, and he encouraged me. And you can go here. Look at everything. They even have like essential oils. They have gift sets. All this stuff. Check it out. Go to trulyfreehome.com and make sure that you type in code Jacob. You get your laundry detergent. You can get your soaps, your shampoos, your shaving creams, everything that you put all over your body and you put in your home. Keep it clean. Stay away from all the other horrible stuff that's stealing our life and our joy, and support a company that's doing God's work. I love each and every one of you. Make sure that you hit the like button, you subscribe, you share. If you want a copy of The Calling, obviously my novel, it's an awesome novel. You can pick it up on Amazon, anywhere else. All the merch and everything and all the links to everything are in the description of the video below. Thank you so much for spending this morning with me. I really hope that this encouraged you. I hope that you liked the show. I love you all so much. I'm really grateful for you. And I ask that you maybe tell more people about the channel so that we can reach more people and then we can even do more things. I think that this is going to be the year that we've all been waiting for. It's exciting. I get emails from all of you about how you've been here for a long time, and it's amazing to see it all play out. And it literally happens. It gives me hope. Because, if none of this stuff actually happened, if I was talking about grimace for no reason and there was no connection to certain events, like now they're saying the shakeup's here, shakeup's coming, and everybody's grimacing, everybody's smiling, and the fiend dies. It's like everybody's being possessed and smiling, just walking around life. It's time for us to find more. It's time for us to go to God and ask God to help us. I don't got to tell you what to do. On your own. Teach me the truth no matter what the cost. That was my big prayer. I went to a bunch of churches. I got baptized a gabillion times. I have essays on all this stuff on my website. God wants two things from you. Jesus said this. Love God, love others like yourself. Love. He wants you to love. But if you want encouragement and you want help and you're going through some stuff and you don't think you can get through it, you can get through it. And I'm telling you, you got to know that you're in God's hands. So just say, help me, take me, lead me, and then be better. Be better. Love, forgive, do unto others as you want done to yourself. If you want to feel loved, you need to love more. If you want to feel comforted, you need to comfort more. This is how it works. The world is our garden, right? God gave us the garden, planted Adam smack dab in the middle of the garden. And what do they do? What do we do? Stop hiding behind masks. Stop asking, who am I? And go to God, and God will tell you. I love each and every one of you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.